Hello, hello. I am just learning VTube Studio and I was trying to edit this model so that it's a little bit more personalized. I managed to add this tattoo just by editing the art behind the model. You can swing into, let's see if the screen capture is working well. Yep, I'm not. I'm not in the corner. I'm on one of the windows on the screen. Um, but yeah, Live 2D models, the built-ins. This is Alexia uh, from KyokiStudios that I am starting and playing with. I took the ears off a similar way, just editing this asset file, right? And this is, I mean, real artists don't use paint, I'm sure, but I do, because I don't know what I'm doing. But yeah, you can just throw on the appropriate part the tattoo as pixels, and it shows up and animates with the model, which is intensely cool. I was trying to edit the necklace the same way, and the definition for this, I assume that it's all one file just to save on loading, or because some versions of the editor limit the amount of asset files you can have, or because they think it's cool, and it is. It's cool to see all the parts together. But this, if you try and make something that's a circle around it, it won't pick up the whole. Actually, yeah, that'll be intensely dumb. Let's make this a nice semi-decent circle. Oh my goodness. Halfway semi-decent. Alright, and let's save this in place, right? If we save this and then hop back to VTube Studio and then reload the model, is it? Yes, thank you. Then, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Does it show up? Why didn't it show up? Please hold. Where are we saved as? Is this the real one? That should be the real one. Okay. Am I... Okay, so this actually is showing up, and this is the problem. You can see the little black lines of that circle, but the definition of this object is probably the diamond or something. Like, let's go ahead and fill this in just to really show off what I'm talking about, because I don't think you can see it well. I like keeping the black line, it'll be funny. Alright. Like that, that should be enough to get the gist. Save this file. Pop back in here. Nope, that's not how you zoom. Another thing is that it creates these, what they call white lines. I think of them as gray, but you do you. You can fix that as you're fiddling with the art. There might be a better way to do this, but I can fix this as I'm fiddling with the art by going into model settings here. All the way up at the top here, there's just a fix white outlines button. It's gonna change your files, make backups, and if you hit OK, it takes a sec, it thinks about it, and then when it's done, you don't have a mustache anymore. Or maybe you do, slightly. I don't know. It's less noticeable at the least. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, hang on. What? Yeah. So this is the art. I guess it fixed white lines and reloaded the image. That's neat to know. So it's not just a diamond. Like, they defined the outline of this asset. A little janky. Like, I think somebody drew that by hand, but because there's transparent pixels around the art, that doesn't matter unless you do something silly like fill it all in red around. And I want to load something that is circular. And I don't know how to change that just in the art. So I was trying to do this the right way. And looking up, like, how do you edit these things? And they recommended Live 2D Cubism, which seems to go along with VTuber Studio. You use this to edit the model, especially the model physics. You do the art in whatever art program you prefer. mix those two together, you then stick it into VTube Studio for the mixing with scenes and with items, and then actually animating it to record. But I wouldn't change the model in VTube Studio. I'd change the model, like the shape of attached items, I think is the words, within whatever this is. Live 2D Cubism Editor. Problem there being, when I go to open the model, it can't see anything. Not just with Alexia, but with also the built-ins from VTube Studio. Like I go into I want to say this is the dog, it's looking for a CMO3 file, and the only things that are in there are an MOC3 file, which is the same letters, but apparently does not mean the same thing. This is, I don't know, model, yeah, I was looking around like, live 2D Cubism editor cannot open yeah, saved search, right? And screw you. But okay. The AI claims it's the wrong file type, and then you need the original, and this is like an export that the thing. I don't want to trust the AI at this time. You can, I think, see the date in the corner, and eventually I may trust the AI, but not now, not in the ripe old April of 2026. It's still confidently wrong too often as far as I've played with it. I don't know, man. Now I'm just opening random unscreened web pages on a recording. That's a clever thing to do. Yeah, man. Okay. For now then, I wanted to see if I can at least establish what the necklace is called, and maybe find where I can change it in the files that are there. And the files that are there is the art in this .8192 folder. Don't know what it means. A JSON, the model JSON, physics JSON, whatever VTube JSON is, and then this particular model has a bunch of things that are named like 2 letters. That's not other models. That appears to be specific to this model, which was developed, at least in part, in a language that I don't know. I want to go with Chinese. Yeah, use of kanji, maybe Japanese, can't tell. And this does not lend itself towards understanding which of these maybe parts I would go and try and dig up the dimensions for in one of the JSON files to see if I can edit the bounding polygon, which you can see the outline of in red, to be bigger, to take up more of this art mixed image. Because there's room, right? There's pixels that weren't being used by my eyelashes or my pants? Maybe pants. Clothing. And if I can then stick the art that I have actually hand-doodled in a notepad on my necklace, I will be happy. Yeah, if you want to go and learn how to do VTubing properly, learn it from someone else. I am 2 weeks in, I am having a grand old time, but I don't know what I'm doing. And that should show, right? Like, I have figured out how to be confused and be confused, and I'm getting a lot of use out of those ones, because I'm confused. It was my hope then, take this out of the model settings, go back to the menu, to at least grab the name of what the necklace is. And I believe by inserting items, I was using that. Items, sure, right? Like, this doesn't need to be a difficult choice. But I'm gonna take a second and pick a nice item. I want bread. Bread is what I want. Item order in terms of where it's relative to other items doesn't matter because it's the only one on here. bread. Can I shrink the bread? Yes. Toast, toast. That says maybe about right. Okay. Yeah. Now I've got opinions about the bread. If I take this and can I configure loaded items? Configure bread. Yes. Okay, cool. Pin to specific layer, layer selected, art mesh. Cool. So visualize. If I was going to pin this to a specific layer, which my naive idea is that that means that it would be attached to the layer. Like, I could pin it to my shoulder as though it was a pin. That is not how it has behaved when I've tried this before, but we're going to try it and use this slider to highlight different elements on the model and see if I can spot. My arms being grossed is actually hurting me here. If I can spot which one is the necklace. There's like 221 of these things. Okay, so somewhere in there, the necklace is indeed getting highlighted. Where? Hmm? Come on. Okay, so somewhere between here. Wait, is it flashing what it is? Maybe that does mean it's 1907. Yeah, cool. Okay, didn't know it did that. So I believe this should show up in the recording. As I click 197, you can see this flash. Let's zoom in to show the different elements of the models. 198 flashes what appears to be the shadow under the necklace. I'll show you that in the art in a sec. 203 is going to be more clear, right? 204? Yeah, so that flashes the thing dangling below. You can see the physics. Swings those independently, right? Yeah. 153 flashes the chain. 152, I don't know, I didn't see anything, but like 153 is the chain. 197 and 198. And 197 really appears to be the thing I want. I'm hoping then that I can find, I don't know, art mesh 197. This 197. Find in all open documents. Fine. Please hold. We're gonna just grab all these JSONs. Gonna open all of them. And then we're gonna find in all opened documents. 197. Alexia.mach3 one hit. Yes, actually, this appears to be the thing that I want. Artmesh 195, followed by what I'm gonna guess is undisplayable characters, because it's actually the character, the char numbers corresponding to like what fraction of the thing. That would explain why it looks janky, honestly. If the coordinates are dumbed down a little bit, like no, it appears to have some like fine configuration. Like you can see the kind of wiggle going on at the edge of that one. Like that's not pixelated in the way I was thinking. So whatever, they just think there's something in here that no, where'd it go? Artmesh 197, right? What's this? That's not what I wanted. Give it back. Yes, I know it's bedtime. Hush, hush. Alright. Artmesh 197. I can go in here. I'll do that. Zoom. I'm gonna just keep the art from Artmesh 198. I'm hoping that this defines them as the name followed by the definition. Can I go to the end of this and see if that rings true? What on earth is going on here? I don't see any names. Just a lot of undisplayable characters, so hard to say if that will indeed ring true. But that's something. Can I see? There might be a way to see better ASCII representation of there, but I'm wager ASCII decoder, maybe? ASCII to text. Text to ASCII. Text to ASCII. Shrunk. Like, what is it? What is it? Tell me. That's not necessarily what I was hoping for. It appears that these are all 32s, which in ASCII parlance is spaces. That's not how they're displaying here. Go back to the thing. Can I view character sets? No. ANSI, UTF-8. That's not helpful. Bomb. No. Yeah, that ain't displaying it any differently. Okay. One sec. I'm still learning to actually look things up when I don't know it. Notepad. How to display null triggers. Copying converts nulls to spaces. Yeah, we saw that with the 32s coming out. Thank you. I hate the AI nonsense. Alright, what do we got? A change is coming. Recent. Let's see. Plugin. Null terminated string. Yeah, I know that the built-in application should be able to open it, but this thing, it just ain't doing anything useful. I don't know what. Maybe there's a different way to import a model or something. But I ain't found it. What else we got? How to insert. Null bytes. Null, not paste. Yeah, I could read it with like Python or something. I prefer not to. Is there a way to right click, commands, hide lines, tools, visual language, encoding, convert to ANSI? No. Show symbol? Show all characters. That's gonna show like end of lines and stuff, I would wager. Yeah, CR for carriage return, that kind of thing. That's not what we need. We need some kind of way to like do something with this character. It was already being displayed. Style all occurrence of token. You know what? Make them purple. They did nothing. What? If I zoom in, I will not have as hard a time aiming the mouse. Alright, if I style art mesh, is that what a token is? Is that what a token is? Green. I'm so tired of clicking off. It styles art mesh green. It didn't style all instances of token. Is there a different thing? Style one token versus all token. Maybe I did that. Useless. Okay. Maybe it doesn't consider that to be a full token. Like it sees that I'm highlighting only art mesh, but it's not art mesh standing alone. What if I do a space in here? It's not going to go well if I try and use that. So don't save, but do it again. Do it again. Yes, this is a tangent. Yes, I have ADHD. Shush, shush, shush. I'm learning. Yes, that does indeed color this screen because now it is a standalone word as defined by, if you double click it, which part highlights is a good metric for that thing. Now this is green. Don't save. What do I do with these nulls? Not much. The fact that they're in here as a Mach 3 file is neat. Can I do anything with that information? I don't know. Hang on. Would you find it at all interesting if I continue further down this rabbit hole and see what these null characters even are? Because even if I get this cubism editor working, I would wager that it would just show me the shape that is defined around this, and then I'd be able to edit that shape, move the vertices, that kind of thing, if it works. But I might not be able to see what these characters actually correspond to, and I'm interested in the file type format, like what's going on under the hood in that way. So yeah, I'm going to play with that a little bit, see if I can get just... Yes, you can see that. Python. Excuse me? Did I not already set this up? Would have sworn. Please hold. And we're back. I think it's recording. Yep, it's recording again. Shush, you heard nothing. Okay, so that installed. Now I can grab just the file. Which file was this? This was the Alexia.mach3 files. Cool one, the one with the icon. Copy as path, right? Alright. Da, 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 da. Okay, raw format the string so that the slashies don't... What the heck? Please hold. Control C, keyboard interrupt. I just wanted to copy the one thing. Ah, I still have everything. Okay. Copy as path. Just that. Thanks. With open the file, raw format the string so that the splashes don't try to escape nothing. Not so keen on the double definition of the quotes. That, just for read, as fin temp equals fin.read. I don't know. Is that a thing? Char map code byte 0x8f in position 32. 325 max to undefined. Okay, how do I Python open format as UTF-8 maybe? Here. Yes, that one. Excuse me. I will actually look at this. Yes, encoding equals. That sounds like what I want. And it's just .read indeed. Okay. Assuming that the AI knows what it's doing. A dangerous assumption. Okay. That again. Encoding is UTF-8. As fin, do the fin. Not quite what I wanted there. UTF-8 still can't do one of the 0xC0 in position 64 as opposed to 8F. Invalid start byte. What encoding does this think it is? ANSI? Okay. What if we tried ANSI? Stop it. Okay, temp. Berlin temp. Yeah, that's a long thing. Okay, temp dot find. What are we looking for again? 197. Fine. Alright, so what I'm doing here is I'm importing the entire file as a single string of text in Python, and then I'm looking for the index of that string, right? And so then if I do something like hello world dot find just the were part, it's going to tell me it's about 6 or 7 in 6 because it goes 0 for the H, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6 to get the start, the W of the substring that we are finding. And then I should be able to do something like hello world. Okay, cool. Tell me what's between characters 6 to 8, say? Maybe 9? Yeah, 9. Just, it includes the first, but it excludes the second, so it wants the 6th, 7th, but not 8th character, W-O, and 6th, 7th, 8th, but not 9th characters is W-O-R. Similarly, we're going to do the same thing to look at the definition of 197, so this temp between that minus, I don't know, 6 and that plus 30 characters. Just show me around there. Look here, you punk. Alright. If I go a little further back, it's gonna give me the entire art mesh 67, and then I guess 60 characters out? Like how far is art? Wow. Okay, we got to the following art, but like barely. And then this was too far back. We don't really need 16 characters back, so it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm curious to see if that's 9 or 9 double counted somehow, but if we go back, not 16, 9 less than 16, so only 7 back, and then we go to art. We got to the art. At the end, I want mesh and 3 numbers, so that's 7 more, so 6. Not gonna give that to the kids with the video, nope. Art mesh 198, and then an extra character to avoid the 6 followed by a different digit. Cool. What does that mean? The way that it's displaying is 0x00, which I would usually think means null. Like, gimme a sec. Friggin'. No. Okay. This is letters. The way that computers think of letters is ASCII in a very basic sense. ANSI and UTF-8 are the more difficult encodings that we were, like, trying on this file. So this is really ANSI. Maybe that's my bad assumption here. But when I'm seeing 0x00, yeah, okay. So if this was just ASCII encoded text, then a 32, like we saw earlier, is a substitute? No, that's 32 in octal. I want 32 in decimal. So yeah, 32 is a space. Space is 32. It gets represented as 0x20 because they like writing digits in hexadecimal. If you ever heard Matt Damon on The Martian going on about hexadecimal, this would be the code that he was talking about. 0x20 is 32, is a space. They've got all the letters A through Z in order, and so, like, if you're a nerd, you can, for example, graffiti binary code on the wall while waiting for a subway train. Just because once you've memorized where the A is, you only need to add the difference to get the other letters, and then you can write the... Look, I'm a law-abiding something. Where were we? Right, yes. Okay, so this is displaying art mesh 197. It's not showing me the 0x65 for the capital A and 0x 100 and something for the lowercase r. 114. Or no, it wouldn't be 114. 0x72 for the thing. Like, none of that. None of that. No 65 for A. It'd be a 4-1 in hex for A. It's showing 0, 0. I think what that means is that these are letters that are defined in ANSI, but are not defined in hex. So, give me a sec. Okay. If I wanted to go through each of these letters and turn them into a nice list, say C4C in that array, like now they're broken out. So it's an A and an R and a T separately. Yes, yes, just like we want. Still showing the 0x00, which I'm hoping is not the only thing that's in them. Then I want the ordinal of C. So this is the 65 for the uppercase A, the 114 for the R that we were looking at in that chart. It does only have 0. That's not useful. How can I tell Python how to get ANSI value for characters in string? Say yeah, I know it's an ordinal. Non-printable detected, printable chars only. Excuse me. Report out the usage of illegal ANSI characters. Extended ASCII is not similar to ANSI. All this was trying to do is just, is it things? Split ANSI escape sequences, regular expression compile stuff, verbose match. Ugh. I want to say this is just matching ASCII? And so an ANSI's character wouldn't match? Like A to Z, that's valid ASCII. Like that's the part that is printing. The art mash 197, or the 197 would get picked up by, yes, it is a decimal, 0 or more digits. That ain't what I need. Is there a way? Mastering ANSI escape codes in Python. This is an unfortunate amount of programming is reading. I wish I knew everything. I don't know nothing. How? Draw. I don't want to draw things with. Look, text adventure games are real cool, and getting the things. Character encodings. Yes, I know those. String dot. That's more interesting. Okay. Unicode. UTF-8. Built-in Python functions. Bin hackdoct. Ord. Unicode character to its integer code point. Yeah, but it's not Unicode characters, right? Like it's ANSI characters, so what happens? Bytes from hex. This shows E2, 0x E2. Yeah, them kind of things, right? It's a bytes object. What's a bytes object? Straight out in code. Decode? Interesting. So there might be a function other than read to see what's there. I might be able to get a hex editor that's gonna do better. How to read ANSI characters from file in Python. Like things. Can read it as bytes instead of a string, maybe? Open with encoding for items.write. Creating the file. Supposed to open. Read lines. Error message. Well, this isn't ANSI, this is UTF-8, but I bet there's overlap in how to handle. Okay, so read bytes. Charset.detect. Chardet. I don't know what chardet is. That might be useful. Alright, let's take a look at what that gives us. With something, I'm going to go ahead and say temp2, and we're going to open it with encoding, or read, not messing with the encoding. Nope, still can't do that. That. Binary mode doesn't take an encoding argument. Fair enough. So you don't need to know what encoding for the string, because it's not going to give a string. Just show me bytes. Stop it. Okay, what's in temp2? Right about the same, but with a difference that might be the file header. Ain't that neat? Tell me then. This is about what I ended up liking. If we do temp2 version of that, it's still 0x00. And it's the same. Interesting. So file, not header, but something at the end loaded different. Or at least later in the file than this. Cool. Well, what do it... Well, what... I don't know. The 20th one is a 0. Sure. What if we ask what it can do? And I think it's .class, right? Yeah. Like, in what way is this stored? Excuse me? Yes, and it's a class int. Okay. Okay, so it loaded as bytes. The byte is an int. The int is... That doesn't feel right. But maybe it is nulls. Maybe Notepad++ was telling me the truth the whole time. Maybe it is nulls. And they're a different number. That feels wrong. How many of them are there? If I highlight 5 of them, it tells me I've highlighted 5. Cell 5 there. This is cell 54 of them. This is going to be really dumb if this is the thing. How many of these are there? There's 54 of these too. They could be the same. Art mesh 197 plus 54 characters. Tell me how many characters that make total, right? 54 plus 10 is 64. Okay, thank you for playing along. What I'm guessing this means is that this is not ArtMesh 197 followed by any kind of useful definition of what ArtMesh 197 is. This is instead what it looks like when a file is going to be containing a list of things that have a maximum length. Instead of ArtMesh 197 followed by like a comma or a vertical bar or any other useful separator that like would present problems if somebody named their art mesh with a comma in it. Instead, the program has declared that the maximum length for naming your art meshes is 64 characters. Programmers like the number 64 because it's 2 to the 8th, I think. Don't worry about it. That means that this highlighting all the nulls preceding, probably, and the ArtMesh 197 part. That is the definition of the name of the thing. And it doesn't matter that it's ugly and weird, because nobody's supposed to be in here looking around. You're supposed to just get the stupid software working. Does it still? Yep, but it doesn't work! I'm gonna go back and play Pips. Pips is more... the point of sharing this journey, right? And I don't think we're gonna take it further. Like, it is possible that the art meshes and their naming here is followed in the file by a list of definitions in the same order, but that would require the careful counting out of like things, and also every time that I like click off of this part of the file, I have to fix where I found the 197, and it's annoying. But also kind of fun. Please hold. I'm going to at least scroll to the left and see if I can find anything that looks like the end of these art mesh definitions. Because it would amuse me, right, to find... Is there even a scroll bar that I could be using more sanely than just holding down left? ArtMesh 7, ArtMesh 8. Oh, we can test our theory at least while we're here. So ArtMesh 8, ArtMesh 7, ArtMesh 4. These all have the same number of characters. I want to go back to something that doesn't. Give me a better name. Art. I mean, it's just named ArtMesh, but fine. If we say ArtMesh should be preceded by more than 54 of these, it should be a number that adds up to 64. So indeed it's 56. And then ArtMesh plus that 56 is 63 total. 63 is not equal to 64 for those playing along at home. Is this a problem? Don't know. Maybe it's following, right? ArtMesh 2 followed by a bunch of nulls. That adds to 64. So ArtMesh, if we go to the right, if it's the characters followed by a certain number, that's also 64 characters. This isn't useful, but it's gratifying. Okay, we continue to scroll left, now knowing more about what we're scrolling past. It's the name of each of the art meshes, followed by a bunch of nulls, just to separate out the number of characters so that the program knows it wants to skip 64 ahead for each of the things, and it will find the next capital A, the way that this particular model is named. ArtMesh, 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 ArtMesh. Is it? Yeah, 24. Why these aren't in alphabetical order? Again, because this is not meant to be a human-readable file. We're not meant to be finding things in here. This is for the computer. So probably they just got added at the time, in the order that they were created, or the assets got loaded, if they're based on underlying art assets, before they got merged into a cool mega image. Maybe, who knows? All of, multiple engineers who worked on this know. I don't know. People who write documentation know. People who read the documentation would know. I have not. Oh, this is driving me nuts because just the way that this is scrolling on this screen, I can vaguely tell that there's something going by and that it's capitalized. Camel case in the... Camel case is a term where you've got the head of your camel sticking up and then kind of a hump in the middle of your camel. What it means is that there's words stuck together and you capitalize the first letters of each. And look, I didn't name this. I can see them going by, but they're blurry, so I feel like stopping every now and then to just verify that we haven't made it to the point of the list where we're defining something different and more interesting. Hypothetically, like, I have not even verified. Yeah, same kind of thing going on for whatever a warp is. Warp 128, warp 1, warp 58. Please hold. Alright. Let's go to some art meshes. Should have done this from the beginning, I guess. Art mesh 201. Maybe this is first? I don't know. If we scroll over here, stop it. That is 64 characters like we'd expect. To the left of Art Mesh 64, or Art Mesh 201, is 64 characters that are all null. So this is like the leftmost art mesh thing, and these don't have any visual differences, so I believe they truly are all null. And then we get into a section that isn't. Okay, what's going on? So big, long chain of nulls. And then we've got other stuff. Accent nulls and whatever US is. I don't know. Doubt that this is useful stuff. SI and sub. Is that a thing I recognize from the ASCII table? Sub. Oh yeah, this is the 32 that in octal. This is what I mistook for a space. It's substitute. Substitute something for something. Don't know why this isn't what we need. Don't know why that's in here. It's presumably doing something. I'm guessing it's more likely to be acting as a 26 or a 1A. If there's some kind of hex definition that's just got stuck in this file in a particular space. But what it isn't doing is telling me where the stupid vertices are for defining things. And if this section, right, of string was the definition of the entire, like, where all the vertices are, then it would not be so fine-tuned as to hug the necklace this tightly. This is not enough space for enough information for all the vertices that would go around assets like the necklace that's got a nice curve to it. Certainly not the wiggly hair. No, we're going to be looking for definitions that are longer, that take up more space. If we found anything. Okay, the arrows are neat, but there's not enough of them again. What else? Anything stick out? Not really. So null, so null, so null. What is it? What is this? Semicolon DMV underscore HKMOXYZ. That honestly sounds vaguely familiar. XYZs. At least it's none of those. Okay, the other thing that I wanted to check before ditching, and I was considering ditching before doing this, but it was at least fun to figure out the 64 length definitions of names, right? Is what's off to the right. If we have the names of all these art meshes, would they be followed by definitions, or is this long string just all the names of them? And it kind of appears to be just the names of them. Maybe they're defined in other files? Like if we go into... Oh, they're not in here. And this isn't enough information for more than... they're not shaped like vertices either. VTube JSON? Saved model position? movement, item, parameters. Maybe. This is a long enough file. Hotkeys, triggers. Oh, what else is going on in here? I love this exploration. It does nothing useful for me. Like, honestly. The best that I could hope to do is get in here, find a list of maybe 20 or 30 numbers that correspond to the vertices somehow, and then just fiddle with them manually until the red circle was big enough to encompass the necklace I want to put on. Which ain't nothing, but like, that's not how I want to be editing my model every time. Clearly I want to get the actual software to work, but because that is being finicky and I'm stubborn, I'm playing around with the thing that's more interesting than banging my head against software that isn't working. I'll find a tutorial to go through and do this kind of properly later. You get the improper? Both. Just fiddling. Yeah, this is definitely second monitor content at best. Third monitor for you hoity-toity types. Alright, parameters exist. They were very funny to wire into my stream bank thing because they all have names like this. This is parameter 55 and YF and stuff going on. Yeah, these are expressions. Items pinned to model, motion. Is it physics? Name of things. What are the things? Expressions. Yeah. Everything with an X is expressions. Physics, textures, mock. What is it? What does MOC stand for? VTuber mock acronym. Modification, original creation? Should stand for. Don't tell me what it should stand for. What is this? My own creation. Really? Model. Yes. Yes, of course. I should have guessed. Maybe .mod was taken. Not. Not my own creation. I hate that the AI gets things right. I think that is what it's for. And the water is a false flag operation. It's the electricity that's going to be the problem, I believe. But gosh, stop showing me ads on my thing. What do we got? Yeah, if it's not in the model JSON, because all we've got is expressions and parameter groups. That's a surprisingly short number of parameters. Physics, angle, vertices, position. I mean, vertices sounds convincing. I would believe that. Oh, that's what these arrows are for. Is I'm just not used to seeing all symbol, right? So don't show all characters. Yeah, it's not two spaces, it's an actual tab. View. Show space and tab. Yep, that's them. Okay. Yeah, I'll keep it. It's kind of cool. Either I'll get used to it or I'll throw it away. Physics settings. Output parameters. Vertices. Position, mobility, delay. I wonder if that's like a vertex. Model hasn't been on the screen this entire time. I've been looking down at the preview and saying, "Hi, oh yes, look at me wiggling around, how nice." You've been looking at me just moving my mouse around screens. At least it showed the windows I was looking at. We are a bread half full kind of household. Vertices. Physics settings. This, just based on the number of vertices, I'm guessing this is like physics anchors rather than bounding outlines. But this might be more of the thing we are looking for. This didn't have a 197 in it, did it? Maybe not. Oh, that's interesting. So what is ArtMesh 109 and why does it have so many different things defined against it? I don't know. 132. Those were in alphabetical order. Position, mobility, delay, positions, stuff, things. ArtMesh 111. If we see 197, we'll have to stop for it. But it doesn't look to be fully inclusive. We've got these positions. This is a list of positions. So you got square bracket for the list. You've got each position as a dictionary of things. Position, another dictionary XY. So the list element dot position dot x is a thing. The list position list element dot mobility is its own thing. What's the top of the list? Vertices. Is this preceded by something other than vertices? I guess. Destination. Output. LF. Physics setting. Yeah. Okay, so these are vertices that relate in some way to this physics setting. So physics setting 11 is taking a look at body angle, XYZ, and it's doing things. Angle rotation 1 of ArtMesh 136, and rotation 2, and rotation 3, and rotation 4 and 5 of that same ArtMesh for some reason. And it's also doing things to this other ArtMesh. 3 times, not 5, and this other ArtMesh. 5 times, not 3. I'm sure this makes sense to, like, riggers. But I have not done any of that, as you can tell. So I don't know what this means. I do recognize what delay and acceleration and radius might mean. These are all physics settings. This is physics settings doing things, and that is likely the entire contents of the physics JSON. Yep. Okay, so what about the model, right? These are expressions. The textures exist. It's going to be in here, likely, in the mock, that these names are used and defined. Are we going to be able to find where they're used and defined? Give me back my slider, you. We could take a whack at, like, which ones are the long lines of stuff, and do they look like, vertices? Like, nothing's gonna be as long as those names, I guess, for all the parts. That's a lot of parentheses, and it's weirding me out. What's going on in there? Paramouth form, param angle rotation 2, ArtMesh 166. That's something out of the physics, I guess. What are those? Don't know. What are these? Don't know. No, 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 X'd. No, 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 X'd. No, 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 X'd. I'm curious what's an X'd. End of text? If it's a ETX, am I reading it wrong? Yep. Okay, so no, 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 end of text. No, 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 end of text. Is this slots for a bunch of unused things? Doesn't seem likely. Maybe. Alright, those are stuff. Pram 9, those are names. These are something else. Well, what else we got? Oh god, this is too long for this. Okay. This seems the more likely to me to be where they would hide the useful stuff. But maybe not. Maybe it's gonna be... Okay, because this is a file format they get to define, they don't need to name things 197. The name 197 is up above. It corresponds to a fixed position in that list. Once that corresponds to that position, they could give the vertices the name corresponding to that position number, so that they don't need all 64 characters to tell which one it is. They would need just a couple. One. Or they could do it just based on position, too. Probably not that. Yeah, the odds of me trawling through 15,000 lines of whatever this is and finding useful vertex locations does not seem probable at all. But it was neat to pop the hood open and say, yes, that's an engine. That's about what happens when I try to work on cars. So why not code? Let's see. We can fix both of those things, but I will take a whack at getting this or another piece of software to open the .mach3 file. Worst case, I suppose I was expecting to replace the model with my own art anyway, so that it would mix better with my art style of like items, because I want to draw a lot of items. Whether or not that, oh god, we're over an hour. Whether or not I will be able to keep the Alexia form, or if I'm going to have to start off a different base shape, TBD. I hope that I'm able to keep this one. I like these eyes. I like the overall motion, the feel of the design. But if it's something that was released only as a you can use this but not really edit it, which is totally fair for free art, like you don't have to share your source code for everything, then I might have to go a different way. Okay, thanks for coming along for like that series of rabbit holes. What's a connect, like a rabbit ant farm? Rabbit Warren? Warren sounds right. Thanks for rabbit hunting with me. I'm gonna go back to short videos of playing New York Times games. I'll let you know how this goes, and I'll turn my my red necklace back off. Okay, bye.